Hello and welcome back to the NUFC Opinion Blog for another fan feature interview. Today I am joined by Ben Arkless, who's been a Newcastle fan for all his life. Ben, how are you?
I'm very good, thanks, Daniel. And yourself?
I'm absolutely fine. Just coping in these strange times. So, firstly, Ben, despite an improved performance on Saturday against Everton, when we actually looked quite good, we pressed high up the field. Things were brought very much down to earth again with a thud last night against Crystal Palace. So, what do you think went wrong last night?
Well, it's such a shame because when we went ahead against Everton and we got the result, I was very pleased, as I'm sure many Newcastle fans were. But I think, as with Newcastle, whenever we do something good, we seem to do something equally as bad just afterwards. And obviously that happened against Palace. I thought we started well. Obviously the goal in the first couple of minutes was fantastic. We pressed high. But I think as soon as the goal went in after about 5 or 10 minutes, we just sort of sat back and went back to what we used to be like. We just sort of sat off the ball, didn't press. We lost a lot of intensity, I think. Although there was a few good individual performances, I think Almiron did well. He was coming for the ball a lot, and he was offering. Not everything he did came off, but he was offering. And I think Wilson played a few nice balls. There was one in the first half through to Fraser, which we should have done better with.
Should have done better, yeah.
And of course, should have taken my chances. I think that was one of the big points last night, especially towards the end of that first half. We had 3 or 4 good chances. Obviously, Fraser, there was a couple from corners. But defensively, we just switched off, especially for, I think, the first goal when Van Aanholt came around the back. I don't think anyone was tracking him.
Yeah.
And we just looked lazy, to be honest. We didn't get out and press, and we lost that intensity which we had against Everton. And we had for the first 5 or 10 minutes last night.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned there that we did have a lot of chances last night. So, obviously, we didn't put only one of them away. Mm-hmm. So, would you say that there's a lack of confidence in front of goal at the moment? Because despite obviously a lot of recent performances, we haven't had any chances. Certainly, that has improved. Our chance creation has improved lately. So, do you think that despite the chance creation improvement, there's a lack of confidence in front of goal because we're not putting the chances away?
Well, that's it, isn't it? I think it was in all competitions we didn't score for 8 out of 9 games or something over the sort of December period, January sort of time. And I think that is probably the case. But Wilson getting a few goals the other afternoon, against Everton, I thought he would have maybe had a few more chances, got himself in positions. He was trying, but it didn't come off. And I think there's been times this season when we haven't created chances at all, and we've missed the one chance we've had because we've been sitting back. And I think when we start to create more chances, there isn't that pressure to kind of score with every chance. Like you look at Everton at the weekend, Wilson could have had 3 or 4 goals, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because he got the 2, which was the result.
Which won the game.
I think last night I feel like the chances fell to the wrong players in a sense. I feel for some of them, like the Fraser chance, I think if Wilson had been in that position, that might have been a goal. Also, I think there was a Shaw chance or Clark, one of the two from a corner in the first half as well, and that got headed over. I think again, if you'd had a player like Wilson in there, and there was one and as well in the first half, Shaw headed wide, and it was a free header. I think it was first half. It was a free header. Again, if you'd had a player like Wilson on the end, then that might have been a different result. But then at the same time, I think we can't become reliant on one player. I was looking last night, and I think if Wilson gets injured in front of goal, I just can't see where the goals are going to come from, to be honest.
Who knows where the goals will come from?
Exactly.
Given, the sort of issues that we've been having lately, the amount of losses we've had, I think, is it 12 and 13 now that we've lost?
Mm-hmm.
With all that being said, do you have genuine fears for our Premier League safety this season?
It's a very, very tricky question to answer. Because I know there's an 8-point gap with the teams below us, but I think Fulham seem to be coming into form. They've started playing quite good football, I think, and Sheffield United are, I think, are a bit of a concern, to be honest, because they've started to pick up a few wins, and you think, might they have the confidence to kick on? I think we've got enough quality in the side to stay up. I think once St. Maximin starts playing, I think he'll add to the threat going forward. And I think Almiron looked a lot better when he's in the hole, like he was playing last night.
He's been our best player of late, in my opinion, Almiron. I think he's done really well.
Definitely, I think when he's got the ability to sort of float about, I think that's when he's at his best. And I'll be honest, I've been critical of Almiron at times this season. I feel like sometimes he's gone missing in matches, and sometimes the things he's been trying hasn't been coming off. But last night against Everton, he was fantastic. So I think we've got enough quality to stay up. But it's all about just turning that quality into performance. Of course, we should be beating teams like Palace, really, if we want to stay up. But I think, touch wood, we should have enough in the tank. But as I say, it's just all about applying those performances to results, really.
Yeah, no, I agree. You'd think with the squad we had, we should have enough to stay up. But, of course, the management is a bit of an issue. So are you Bruce in? Are you Bruce out? What do you make of the new addition to Graham Jones in the touchline? And was it right that he was in the stand for the first half last night and then brought down onto the touchline? Of course, he seemed to have a lot more impact against Everton on Saturday on the touchline. So what do you make of all that? And of course, Steve Bruce's management himself.
Well, I mean, firstly on Steve Bruce, I think like many fans, I was against him, especially over the sort of December, January period. The run we went on, the football we were playing wasn't good. We didn't create chances, and we're just, to be honest, we looked like we didn't care half the time. I think I don't know whether that was Bruce wasn't inspiring the players, or the players weren't listening to him, or a mixture of both, or the training was bad. I don't know, but the fact of the matter is, we weren't getting results. And I think Graham Jones coming in against Everton, I don't know if that was his doing or not, but it does seem coincidental that we started playing well when he's come in. Obviously, the second half against Leeds was better. By no means good, but better.
Once again, though, we had a lot of chances and didn't take them. A bit
Exactly.
like last night.
Exactly. So I think Jones coming in, it's always good to have a set of fresh eyes and try new things, but I still don't think winning against Everton, I don't think that's going to kind of override the run we've been on. It doesn't forget that. The fact of the matter is we're still not winning enough. And by winning one game, that doesn't make everything fantastic again. So I've heard that Bruce might be given till the end of the year, but if we don't pick up results for another few weeks, I just can't see the value in him staying. I just think it's a relegation waiting to happen if we don't have the right tactics in. Although, as I said before, we've got good players. Tactically, what you do with them is always going to determine whether we stay up or not.
No, I fully agree. I've been in an anti-Bruce position for a while. I think a lot of Newcastle fans, just when he was first appointed, had their doubts, and they knew that eventually things might turn out like this, and it's been proven right. So the fact that we are on such a run is not massively a surprise to me, and that cements my position of that Bruce is not the man to carry us and take us forward just because of the football that we've been playing.
Yeah.
The way we've been going about things on the field, just in general. The fact that, as I say, we're not really taking some chances and we don't score many goals, and then at times we can't defend either. It's a recipe for disaster, in my opinion.
On that point, watching the John Anderson interview the other night.
Thanks for the plug. Thank you.
Of course. Obviously, he said Bruce. Some fans didn't like Bruce from the start, and I completely agreed with what he said. And obviously, he was saying he's been under pressure from the start. And I think this run that he's gone on has just not done him any favours. He's not really hit the ground running. And I think the fans getting annoyed and we're not winning is never going to be a mix of success, to be honest.
Agree. Moving on to some better times now, actually, and better thoughts. What would you say, Ben, was your earliest memory of supporting Newcastle?
Well, I've got plenty of pictures in the house of me when I was probably about 3 or 4 in my Newcastle kit. My granddad, I think, wanted us to be probably the star for Newcastle. Obviously, that hasn't turned out, but you never know.
Time yet. There's time yet.
Exactly. So obviously, whenever I was at theirs or at home, I would always have a Newcastle kit on, and I've got plenty of photos of them. Going into sort of a first game, I think the first game I went to, I think we played Middlesbrough at home in, I think it was 2008. I think we drew 1-1 in the finish. We had family friends who could get us tickets. We didn't have a season ticket, obviously, at the time. But when they didn't go to the matches, we'd always take up their ticket. So I right up in the gods, in the Milburn stand, so or right at the top. There was another good memory I had when I was younger. It was in 2009. We played Man United on my birthday. And I asked, well, we got beat 2-1, I think. And I asked for tickets for my birthday. It was on a Wednesday night. And we went to the match. Obviously, we got beat, but Ronaldo was my favourite player at the time. And so I got to see Newcastle and I got to see Ronaldo. So I was quite pleased.
Win-win situation, yeah.
But on that night, my dad said afterwards, when he saw all the players warming up like Ronaldo, Rooney, he just thought this is a night of disaster. It's going to be an absolute disaster. But it was good for me. I enjoyed it, and that's the main thing.
Do you have a particular favourite moment or favourite match in all your time supporting? Like you don't necessarily have to have been at that match, or you could just be watching the TV. But do you have a favourite moment or a match that you can think of at the top of your head?
Obviously, the day we won the championship. That was kind of, as I'm sure as the same for you, the first thing we've won of any note since obviously we won the championship previously.
Yeah, I can remember both. I wasn't at the first one in 2009. Sorry, in 2009-10. I watched it on TV and probably saw the highlights, but I was at the one in 2017. So yeah, do continue.
Yeah, of course, like that was sort of the first one which I kind of was there for, and I enjoyed, and I had a proper enjoyment of football sort of thing. Obviously, that was such a good day when we found out that the Brighton result and sort of the roll went around the stadium. That was fantastic. The night we got promoted as well, I think we played Preston. I think we won
4-1. Yeah.
And going home with the lads, it was after the match. It was just dead happy, dead excited, and so them times are quite good, I think. But obviously, recently I've started to go to a few more away days as well. And when we played West Brom last season,
just back in nearly a year ago now.
And it feels like ages ago now. But that was such a good day when we took so many fans. That atmosphere was fantastic.
5,000. Yeah.
We came on with the result, and it was the day before my birthday as well. So it was a nice birthday.
I remember this well, Ben. That's mainly because I was there with you. But
Yeah. Aye.
No, it was a very good day. I remember being in the pub pre-match, and then in the concourse, and then it was just a fantastic day. Of course, there was sort of rumblings about the COVID-19 crisis that might be on the horizon, but at that time we really didn't have a care in the world, and life was good. We'd gotten into the FA Cup quarter-final, and it was just a fantastic night. Would you say that you've had a particular Newcastle player who you've idolised growing up?
Well, when I was younger, I had like before we got relegated to the championship the first time, I had a shirt with Obafemi Martins on the back.
Could you do a backflip like him?
I don't think I could, but I don't want to try either, to be honest. I can't see it ending well. Obviously, I quite liked him, but I think with Newcastle, number 9s are quite synonymous, aren't they? So
yeah,
obviously I'm too young to kind of remember the good days of Shearer, and obviously the players before. When we moved on from that, I quite like Yohan Cabaye. He was on his day, he was fantastic, and some of the free kicks he had, were fantastic. I remember there was one against Man United. I think we won 3-0 at home.
My best memories of supporting Newcastle.
I think I was at the match that day as well.
I was there that night as well. It was the 4th of January 2012, if I remember rightly. It was a horrible night, and the wind was blowing and the rain was spitting down. But obviously we beat them 3-0 and he scored that fantastic free kick. Yeah, I remember it very well.
Yeah, no, I quite liked him, and obviously recently you think Wilson and St Maximin might come to be your saviour at some point. Some point, but to be honest, I think of the time I've been a Newcastle fan, there's not really been one fantastic player who's set the world alight. You know, for a significant length of time. Of course, yeah, like when Cisse first came, and he scored, what was it, 13 and 13 or something, and
something around that, yeah.
And it just, the run he went on was crazy, and some of the goals he scored. But as I say, there's not really been one consistent player for a few seasons who sort of in the imagination, if you'd like.
Now, finally, just to wrap things up, what would you say was your favourite season as a Newcastle supporter? Presumably, this will be a season that you went to a lot of the games in.
Yeah. Of course, the Europa League campaign was very good, albeit brief. I went to a few of the games. I went to Bordeaux at home. I think we won 3-0, I think. And I remember my granddad took us and we were sat in the Gallagher, and it was just a fantastic night to watch European football. Hopefully that'll return sometime. But I think the season I enjoyed most was probably the Championship, because we won a lot, didn't we?
Yeah.
And the season afterwards, when we came back to the Prem,
that was a
quite
good
enjoyed as well, because there was still a bit of a feel-good factor around the place with Rafa staying, although we know how that turned out. But obviously it was quite a, it was did all right, and it was quite an enjoyable time, and I think that was the last season I had my season ticket. I've had to give it up for other commitments and stuff, and hopefully I'll return back sometime. But I think the Championship season and the season after was probably the two of my favourites, and the time I've been a supporter.
Very nice. I have to say, the season, even Rafa's last season was good. Of course, became 13th in that season and had a similar points tally. Both of them had memorable matches in them. Of course, I recall the 2-1 win against Manchester City in his final year, and then obviously, and then the 1-0 win against Manchester United at home in his first Premier League year with Newcastle, first full one. So yeah, there's been some good memories of late, despite the fact that it hasn't always been that good. So thank you very much, Ben. Thank you very much for joining me.
No problem.
Hope you all enjoyed watching this at home. Obviously, I'll keep providing content like this, and hopefully you all still continue to enjoy it. So thank you all very much for watching, and how are the lads?